How's it going, everyone? This is Haris Kruskic, BR Live's combat sports reporter, and today we're here with Scorpio Sky of All Elite Wrestling. Scorpio, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
No, absolutely. Thank you for being here with us. You are getting ready. You don't have a match yet scheduled for All Out, but you do have a couple Dynamite episodes coming up. You recently transitioned to singles competition after doing a lot of tag team stuff with SCU. How's that been?
I think it's been great. I love doing singles wrestling. This is kind of the original formula that SCU was doing, where Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian were the team. They used to be known as the Addiction. They've been tag team champions in multiple companies, and I was the singles wrestler. We got a little bit away from that with Christopher Daniels' injury in the tag team tournament last year, where I had to step in, and fortunately we were able to become world tag team champions, the first ones here in AEW. And so once we lost those championships and we lost the rematch, we had to kind of go back to the drawing board and see what's next. And what we came up with was going back to the original formula of me being the singles wrestler, them being the tag team, and we're going to see how that goes.
You mentioned on Twitter a few days ago that you will, in fact, eventually be back on Dynamite. I'm assuming that was a little tongue-in-cheek. Has it been frustrating for you to not regularly be on Dynamite?
Well, yeah, it's obviously a little bit frustrating, and I think that kind of came out in my interview on AEW Dark a few weeks ago. I understand that we only have 2 hours of television time every week, and we have a lot of talents to showcase. And so you're not going to be on as much as you'd like to be on. But I'm a competitor, man, and I want to be involved. And I think about it a lot like sports, in the sense of I feel like I should be a starter, and you're kind of like, why am I coming off the bench? You know, why is this guy getting 30 minutes a night and I'm getting 12? You know, so as I said a moment ago, I'm a competitor, and I'm always going to want more, and it's that Mamba mentality of always reaching for the next goal and the next goal and the next goal. And so that's kind of what that was about. It was a little tongue in cheek, but there was some serious, there's seriousness to every joke, as they say.
All Out is September 5th. You don't have a match scheduled yet, but are you looking at anything, any opponents, anything that you want to get yourself involved in ahead of it?
Fortunately, I've been able to be a part in some way, shape, or form of every pay-per-view AEW has had, whether it be a pre-show match or on the actual pay-per-view itself. And I'm not looking to break that streak. So I definitely want to be involved in All Out. As you said, I don't have a match yet, but I'm going to definitely find my way into some sort of trouble, and I will be on All Out, because these pay-per-views, man, this is where everything gets ratcheted up a little bit. You get more time for your matches, and when people have to tune in, they know it's a big show. There's just a different energy, and I feed off of those types of moments, and then you can bet I'm going to be a part of it.
That's great to hear. How'd you come up with the name Scorpio Sky? I'm sure you get that question a lot.
It's funny. When I first started training, I had like a ponytail. I had long hair, I had a ponytail. And at the time, Too Cold Scorpio was wearing the same hair. And it wasn't anything where I was trying to copy him or whatever. It was just, we just happened to have this similar haircut. And so my trainer gave everybody nicknames, because he couldn't, he wasn't going to be able to remember everybody's name on day one. So my buddy and I started together, and he was Dynamite and I was Scorpio. And so as training went by, yada, 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 eventually it was time for me to make a debut. And we're like, all right, we got to come up with a name. And I'm like, oh man, dang, I got to come up with a name. So we're thinking. And, at one point I was just going to go by my real name. My real name is Sky. And so, they wanted me to start with a mask, and a real name with a mask is kind of weird. You don't see masked wrestlers, guys that look like Jushin Liger, and their name is Bob Smith, so it didn't really fit. So my trainer was just like, why don't we call you Scorpio Sky, and then we'll change it later. And I was like, oh, it sounds good. And we just never got a chance to change it. So here I am.
Well, now I have to ask, what happened to the ponytail? Where is it? Are we going to see it?
Well, actually, originally I shaved. This is kind of funny. When I made my debut, my mask didn't fit. And it was because of my hair. And so I basically, took scissors and I just chopped the ponytail off and cut my hair so my mask would fit.
Was that hard to do? Were you crying while doing it? No?
No, I was ready. I was kind of ready to do it. I had long hair at that point for like 10 years. And so, from the time I was like 10 years old or something, 9 years old, until I made my debut at 18, I believe I was 18 or 19. So I was kind of ready to cut it anyway. And my mask needed to fit. So like I literally couldn't get my mask closed. And so I was like, all right, well, just cut it all off. And I cut it short, and the mask fit, and it made it work.
Good for you. So I was doing a little bit of research on you ahead of this interview, and I stumbled upon a couple of articles regarding you and MMA and Muay Thai. What can you tell us about that?
Well, yeah, I love mixed martial arts. It's something I always wanted to do. And for a couple of years, I just jumped in and did it. I had 4 MMA fights. I did multiple Muay Thai competitions. And then eventually I returned to pro wrestling because it was very time consuming. Obviously, if you're getting ready for a fight, you got to train for 6 to 8 weeks, and it's about 4 or 5 days a week. And if you're traveling, it makes it very difficult to do that. So pro wrestling was my first love. I loved MMA. And boxing and combat sports in general is like my second love, and so I got to do it. And I actually would have continued to do it because I really did enjoy it. I was going to try to do it at the same time as doing pro wrestling, but I had a couple of circumstances where I would take fights and I would train and start cutting weight and everything like that, and then the guy would pull out of the fight, and you're like, oh man, I've already put in 4, 5, 6 weeks, dieted and passed up all the pizza and the cake and all these things, and spent time in the gym and spent money getting ready for this fight. And this guy just pulls out because either he doesn't want to fight or he's hurt or whatever the reason is. And that just got to be a little bit frustrating to me. And I just never ended up getting a chance to go back.
Do you have any favorite fighters?
Absolutely. Love Anderson Silva. Him and I will chat on Instagram from time to time, and because he's a little bit of a wrestling fan, so we'll exchange messages back and forth. And I was a huge fan of Rashad Evans, who we actually had on Dynamite not that long ago, so that was cool. Vitor Belfort, the same thing. When it comes to boxing, I was a huge Ali fan growing up. Mike Tyson as well. I love Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins. Going back to MMA, George St. Pierre, Randy Couture was a huge impact on me. I love fighters, man. I love the game. I love the fight game.
You named every legend in the book. That's impressive.
Yeah. I've always based a lot of my character and myself off of fighting. If you looked at the match I had with Cody, and I've done this for years and years and years, you'll see right before the match starts, I'm kind of crouched in the corner. And that's something I kind of got from Anderson Silva and Rashad Evans, and how they right before the fight would start, they'd kind of crouch down almost like a spider or whatever in the corner. And that's something that I just started doing in wrestling, I don't know, 6-7 years ago or something like that.
It doesn't take too long viewing your social media to notice that you are a huge sneakerhead. What's your favorite pair of shoes of all time?
The Jordan 1. Jordan 1 high top, my favorite shoe of all time. I probably have 20 different versions in different colors and edits and that sort of thing. I've got a pair next to me. I've got the Travis Scotts I'm actually going to throw on today. I think that's the coolest sneaker of all time, man. It's the silhouette and the fact that it actually changed the game when it comes to sneakers. It kind of created the sneaker culture and what it did for the sport, and how Jordan was able to really make Nike what it is today with that sneaker is just so cool, man. But I have a lot of favorite sneakers. I like Adidas as well, and I'm obsessed with sneakers, man, as you can tell. I love them.
Absolutely. Well, Scorpio Sky, I thank you for joining us. Again, All Out is next Saturday, September 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern for the pre-show. You can order that on BR Live. Sky, thank you again very much for your time, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.